What is good and what is up, y'all? It's your boy here, Jay, back and better than ever with another episode of Padres Banter. The Padres were on a roll right after the All-Star break and continued to look like the team that they should, but eventually stumbled on a couple of the series as of late, and that's okay because they're still playing competitive baseball the way that we like to see. So let's get all right into it because we got a lot to talk about since we have last chatted about the Pods. But the Pods were on a roll after the All-Star break, going 23-12 in their first 35 games, being one of the hottest teams in baseball behind the smoking hot Red Sox, started by a surge of multiple stars in the lineup, with Nando going off, most recently winning NL Player of the Week, having 4 homers over last week, and Jackson Merrill as well, but not maybe as of the past week with Jackson Merrill. Pitching has been solid with Randy Vasquez as well as Michael King and Robbie Ray in their past, starts in this past series against the Pittsburgh Pirates. But they continue to be in a groove, and Michael King starting to look like the old king of himself. So especially since that last start that he had, I mean, we just hope and pray that that continues to go on and goes into the playoffs. And Robbie Ray starting to look really solid as well. But let's get into some player stats since the All-Star breaks. 3 key players that have been locked in on: Tatis, France, and obviously Jackson Merrill have been going crazy since the All-Star break. Jackson has obviously stalled it a little bit, but Tati has just been going absolutely ballistic. Everybody's talking about MVP conversation, this and that, but honestly, I just like the consistent ball that he's been playing. And on top of that, not really worried about, the accolades at this moment in time, and I don't even think that he deserves to be in the conversation wholeheartedly, but I just don't think that he's gonna catch Pete Crow Armstrong and what he's doing with his 7.9 WAR right now. It's just absolutely ridiculous what he's doing over there in Chicago. But Merrill batting 296 with 11 jacks, 296 with 11 jacks and 28 RBIs in the first 35 games after the All-Star break. Been sizzling, but like I said, has flared out in the past couple of series, but that's okay. I trust the kid, and he's gonna just hopefully turn it on in these next couple of series, and it obviously rolls over into the playoffs. And Toddy, 314, 12 bombs, OPS over 1,000 in his first 35 games, and obviously that home run robbery, just highlight after highlight, and what he's doing. 2 home run games, two-run home run games. No, two home run games. And he's just been going ridiculous. Ty France, 390 OBP, just ridiculous getting on base, and 600 slugs. So his OPS is 990 right now. Ridiculousness. Just going crazy, Ty France. I think he should be the MVP of our team this season. Right now, Toddy is obviously surging, so that's obviously who's the MVP of right now because he single-handedly won us a couple games. But all that being said, Ty France has been absolutely solid all year long. But let's get into a couple of the series that we had missed since we had last chatted up. The Brewers series. Pods went on to sweep the Brewers in fantastic fashion. One of the best clubs in baseball, if not the best record-wise. 3-2 in 3-2 in a Jackson Merrill go-ahead home run in Game 1, 11-2 dominance and 17 hits in Game 2, and walk-off in Game 3 by Luis Campusano at home. And then moving on to the Guardians, that next series that they had after the Brewers, fantastic series they had at home, going on the road facing the Cleveland Guardians. The Pods, after that sweep, would go ahead and win their series in the rubber match at Cleveland. Game 1, Tatis and Xander both go yard and lead the way 7-5. Game 2, Pods drop 6-1 on a bullpen start. And in the rubber match, the Pods won 5-0 thanks to 10 hits and 4 bombs. And now on to the Mets series, as they would go from Cleveland and go to New York. They would face the Mets in a pivoted Mets series in New York, where it weren't for not or for if it weren't for Toddy, then honestly the Pods would have gotten swept. In Game 1, the Pods would lose a heart-wrencher 2-1 off a great Walker Buehler start, but the Padres were thrown out at the plate 4 times, guys. That's just ridiculous and can't happen, and I hope that does not replicate itself anytime in the postseason if we get to that point. Game 2 was obviously the Fernando Tatis Jr. show. He went on and put on an absolute clinic. First pitch of the game, second deck tank. Then in the next inning, Ray walks the bases loaded. Lindor hits a bomb to right field foul pole. And out of nowhere, Superman Fernando robs a grand slam to save the inning and go on to win the game. And not to mention the fact that he would proceed onto that a couple innings later, hit another bomb, having 2 homers in that game and robbing one in game 2 to go on and win 5-2 in game 2. And in the rubber match, the Pods would go ahead and drop that game 2-4 as the Mets would have clutch hitting with a bench 2-run home run. Now on to the Minnesota series, where the Twins would look to come in and were hot at the moment, really, securing their wild card spot for the first time this season. And then the Pods would then proceed to go ahead and sweep them, heading back home to San Diego. And just in fantastic fashion, as game 1, the Pods would win with 4 in the 5th inning, scoring 4 in the 5th inning with Ty France bomb. 6-2 would be the dub. Game 2, another 4-run inning. This time in the 7th inning, the Pods would win 7-5. And in game 3, looking to sweep, they did just that with a 7-1 dub with another Nando 2-homer game. Now, the most recent series in the Padres just had with the Pirates, they would go ahead and lose the first 2 games of the series and lose the series. Tough game 1 loss in extras. Miller giving up a home run in the 9th inning in game 2. And in game 3, the Pods would avoid the sweep. But let's get right into it, as in game 1, the Pods would lose on a Jackson Merrill on his bobblehead night. Sorry, not on a Jackson Merrill, but would lose on Jackson Merrill bobblehead night in extras, as Merrill had an opportunity to win the game as in walk-off fashion on his bobblehead night with the bases loaded, 1 out, and struck out on 3 pitches. And you can't do that, guys. And especially for Jax, he's been having some plate discipline issues as of, most recently, because he's been so hot. And I think that's why he's been very aggressive with that. And I love the aggressiveness, and I want you to stay aggressive. But sometimes in those moments, in key moments like that, you got to reel it in and find a way to be just a little bit more disciplined in those moments. And I think that he would learn from this moment, and hoping and moving on in the future when, it comes to a more pivotal situation where we do need to win these ball game, or we, win or lose, go home, whatever the case may be. I think that he will, hopefully reel it in, remember that time that he swung at literally 3 pitches and struck out with the bases loaded, 1 out. All you got to do to put the ball in play, right? I understand the best case scenario is put the ball in the air and, win on a walk-off sac fly. But at the end of the day, just put the ball in play. You cannot swing out of your ass, but you cannot strike out in that moment. You just can't. And it's a very pivotal situation, obviously, coming in. And then they go on to lose in extras and on his bobblehead night of all. And I don't want to say they wasted it, but they did waste a good Robbie Ray start with 5 1/3 innings pitched, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 5 Ks. And like I said, you just had an opportunity to go ahead and walk it off. You got to find a way to reel it in. But in game 2, the Pods would rally, or not rally, but only have 3 hits all game in tough Paul Skeens start. He absolutely shoved against the Padres once again, and had, some issues of having not, been up to par with his velocity as of late. MLB Network went ahead and did a little bit of special on what he possibly could be doing wrong. And I don't know if he had listened to them or not, but immediately it had changed. His velocity was back up, and I didn't see a fastball under 96 miles an hour. So I think that Paul Skeens is doing just fine, because he absolutely, like I said, shoved. But Michael King also shoved with 7 innings pitched, 5 hits, no runs, 2 walks, and 7 Ks. An absolute dealer that night. But then Mason Miller comes in, our absolute reaper, who is shut down, doesn't give up anything, goes ahead and gives up an absolute rocket to O'Neal Cruz, and gives up his first home run of the season, which was heartbreaking. I was at the game, didn't believe it, couldn't believe it. It was a shot, and I just knew in my head, and I had said it out loud, unfortunately, that if O'Neal Cruz just connects with it, his exit velocity, it's going to get out of the ballpark. And sure enough, it did. But we would go ahead and lose the series in game 2, and that's okay. That's baseball. It happens. In game 3, they would find a way to scrap and find a way with a Luis Rengifo RBI single, Jackson Merrill triple, and great pitching all around by Vasquez with the start. 5 innings pitched, 1 hit, no runs, 2 walks, 2 Ks with Hart, Canning, Matsui and Rodriguez go ahead and close it out, and just fantastic, fantastic pitching to go ahead and win 3-0 and find a way to not get swept. But now it's on to the road again, one more time, a couple more times actually, especially next month. But now it's on to Tampa, where we face off against the first place Rays, 14-6 in their last 20 games and 5-5 in their last 10 games, and are sliding a bit as of late, but they're probably hungry and looking to win at home, especially. Chandler Simpson is batting 312 and is extremely fast, so that we need to be obviously heads up with. Fastest man in the league, if I do say so myself. But Yandy Diaz looks to be hitting well over his last 10 games. And then after that, we have the Pods go ahead and head to Cincinnati up north, where the Reds just waived Eugenio Suarez. And right now, looking into next season as it looks, right, because they have slid all the way to last in their division. But either way, guys, we just need to keep the competitive ball up. I love what we have been doing as of late. And if we can keep stacking these days and finding a way to win these ball games, win these series, I think that we'll just be fine. We're still sitting right now a game ahead of the Diamondbacks in the wild card. So we just got to keep, our eye on what they're doing, especially, when we play next month. Sorry. So we just really need to keep going, keep stacking days, and find a way, and hope that this season doesn't come down to that last series at the end of the year against the against the Diamondbacks, because that would be cinematic, obviously, for a lot of people, but not for us fans who truthfully just want to end the season on a high note and not have to so much riding on the last series. But there's always those series at the end of the year. No matter what division it is. There was the Cleveland Guardians and the Detroit Tigers last year, so it always comes down to the wire, guys, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Pods and the Diamondbacks came down to that last series to fight for that last wild card spot. But right now we're sitting ahead of them by one game in the third wild card spot, with 28 games left on the schedule, but 4 left in August, and then we got September. So let's get it, guys. Let's get it, and I'm keeping the faith. I'm optimistic, and let's see where we go. Stack days, baby. Let's get it. But we are out. Padres Banter. We'll be back soon, and I'll see you guys soon.